in conversation with my wife not too long ago. I got out of work. I got off shift Monday morning, and I was telling her that I was going over something that I spoke about in my previous video with Jonathan Jaquay, the owner of the Sanctuary in Friendswood, the Sanctuary Gym in Friendswood, Texas, and I brought up the point, or not the point, a video that I had heard where this guy was saying that pretty much one of the mistakes we make as people, and I would fault us men for it, a little more than the women, but it was whenever you speaking in love languages, what we tend to screw up is that we respond in our love language, right? And you're actually supposed to respond to people in their love languages, right? I mistakenly said that it was a half truth, right? Because whenever you respond in your love language, to me, it shows a little bit of effort through consideration, but that's where I screwed up because you're supposed to learn the other person. That's what you're supposed to be learning, the other person's love language. So whenever they're having a bad day or they do something nice or you want to do something nice for them, you do what they would consider nice, not you. That's where you learn each other's languages or your dialects, as I called it, right? But as I was telling my wife that I made that realization that I misspoke in that last video, it so, somehow that made me think of a message that I recently got on Instagram, and it was from a old NCO of not of mine, but that I knew when I was in the army. He wasn't my direct leadership. He just did outrank me, and I told her that this guy has only reached out a total of 3 times to me since we've got out. It's been over a decade now. And he's only ever reached out to me to ask me for money. And that being said, I told her that I didn't even respond to him this third time. Oh, yeah, and the last time was the third time, and I have completely cut him out. He taught me great things while I was in there. I learned from him and all that, but it's almost sounding like as a person, he was just not. He has his vices that are getting in the way of things. But I wasn't going to let his vices or him get in my way. So now I've just essentially blocked them. I've blocked them on all social media. I've deleted any conversation I've ever had with them because I'm just not going to entertain that shit anymore, or at all. I never really did, but I'm not going to let him continue to reach out like that because I finally made the realization. Other than he's only reached out to me 3 times, and it was for money. He didn't even remember my name. You know, I wasn't a ranger, but he had a habit of, I think he was just throwing a dart in the dark, hoping it would stick. But he would say, "Hey, soldier," or "Hey, ranger," not a ranger. And then he said Bobcat. That was our battalion name. We were the Bobcats. And every time he reached out, it had something to do with going on a bender and running out of money or something. But I noticed that it always came after a major game. except for the one time in the middle where, well, he said he went on a bender, and it was right after we found out a, a, another one of the guys that we were in the army with had committed suicide. But somehow it became about money, not our friend that just passed away. And as I'm telling my wife about this, we come to think about the fact that we've all had family members, or that this type of behavior is not exclusive to just family members, because that's who we had heard it from the most. That, or I guess in this case, it's the most common. It's with family members. They're always asking for money, and that's the only time they reach out, or they're about to ask for money. And it's such a weird boundary because the most common one is parents. It'll be parents, or I say parents, but like direct family. It's pretty disheartening to hear. Well, it was disheartening for me to hear, but in in that case, because oddly enough, I kind of expect it out of family. But that's also bullshit because I shouldn't be expecting it from anyone, and neither should you. I think in cases like this, whenever you are giving money to anyone, it's because they truly need it, and because you are able to, and because you want to. But you should never have to, or feel like you have to. It's a weird shackle that I would say a lot of people have, and if and they might not realize that they have it. I'm not saying don't help those in need, but there's some people that need it, like actually need it, and there's some people that just put themselves in situations where they need it for the wrong reasons. See what I'm saying? And I say all this just to say that I have effectively put up that boundary. I've stopped all communication with this person. I'm not even gonna give you the chance to reach out to me on that level. I'm not going to enable it. You're not even gonna be able to start the sentence with me. And to you know the verbiage that was always used in the messages whenever this person would reach out to me, I was like, oh yeah, it was, we were soldiers together and this and that. I thought it meant, in my head it meant a little more. But then it was like, this piece of shit doesn't remember my name. And I don't want to call him a piece of shit. It's just piece of shit behavior. But this person they get a pension from the military. They're retired out of the military. They're my elder for a pretty good amount. But you know, looking at it through a different lens, I see all these other veterans, especially ones that I know that have families or have struggled or have tried to find a way. They have helped themselves. They never stopped working. They got educated. They did all this and that. And thinking about what this person did, they never they never even tried. So now you're reaching out to me, so somebody who's massively younger than you, for financial help because you have vices. I don't know, man. I feel like you might need to reconsider some things. And I understand that vices, that's why they're called vices. They have you in a grip, but I don't know. I I don't know how many times you have to fuck up before you learn your lesson. I don't have to put my foot in a bear trap to know I don't want to do that. And if I did accidentally get caught in one, I know I don't want to do that again. But, who knows? That's probably something I'm going to have to talk about with or have the discussion with my wife so we can dissect those a little better cuz you know, I'm not the scholar. I don't know these things. But she definitely has a better understanding about these things. She went to school for it. But, you know, let me know. Do you have family members or friends or acquaintances that pull this kind of scumbag behavior on you? Did you catch on to it? Do you still send it out because you don't want to feel bad because you're not helping them out? Is it a boundary you've set up? And how's it working out for you? You know, hopefully your conditions have improved from then on. I know mine have. So let's keep conditions improving.